Hey friends, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super easy DIY off the shoulder jumpsuit. Let's get started. For this jumpsuit I'm using a ponte knit fabric that I've folded in half the wide way with the selvages on either end of the sleeve. And I am going to cut across, meeting at the 2 inches just below the armpit of the old shirt that I'm using. And then I'm going to curve it down and cut along the side using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And once I get to the bottom, I am going to use a 1 inch seam allowance. I folded the t-shirt at the bottom at my natural waistline so that I can attach the pants to this shirt and it'll still fit like a jumpsuit. Now I'm taking the scissors, I placed it in the middle and folded the fabric in half so that I can cut out the other side and it'll be even. Now I am going to pin up the sides and along the sleeves, and that's where I'm going to sew using a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch depending on what you have on your machine. And then I am going to cut open the folded area. This will help me to create an opening for my head, neck, and shoulders. I'm also going to be able to step into this jumpsuit through that opening. So I'm going to place a pin at the top, right above where the armpit area is, leaving that part open, and then I'm going to pin down the sides and sew up the sleeves and down the sides of the shirt. Now let's work on the pants. I am using for the pants an old pair of sweatpants that I have, and I folded them in half, and I would like for them to be wider, the legs to be wider than the actual sweatpants. So I am pinning how wide I want my pant legs to be. And this will help me when I go to fold the pants over to the other side to cut out the front crotch area. So right now we have it folded to the back crotch area, and that part is longer. That's how you know that it's the back crotch area. And now the fabric is folded selvage to selvage at this time. And here I am placing pins so that I'll know when I go to fold over to the front crotch side, that is where the bottom of the pants stop. And then I'm going to place a pin right at where the waistband is so that I will have that even on the other side. Those are just guide marks, the pins. And now I'm going to cut that out using a 1/2 inch seam allowance and 1 inch at the top, and then the same 1/2 inch until I get past the curve of the pants, and I am flaring it out to make it a wider leg. And then I gave myself a few extra inches at the bottom so that I'll have a longer pant. Now I'm going to take that pant and I'm going to open it up and fold it to the front crotch side and flip it to the other side of the fabric and make that front crotch meet the other edge. So make sure you tuck in the back of the crotch, the back crotch area, tuck that in, and when you refold it, the front crotch area will be shorter than the back crotch area. Now I've lined up the waistband to that pin area, but notice how the back crotch area is higher than the front crotch area. And that's why I use the guide marks. So then I'm cutting 1/2 inch allowance along the front crotch area. and then 1/2 inch down the side until I get about 5 inches down, and then I start to angle it out to make it a wider leg. And I'm making snips at the back so that I'll know, and I am going to pin along the crotch line, and that's the only place that I'm going to sew for now, on the front and the back. Sew down those 2 crotch areas, and then we'll come back. Now that those are sewn up, you can open up the pants and make the front crotch meet the back crotch area, and now it looks like pant legs. So now we're going to pin up the sides so that we can sew them closed. Now we have to make the top match the bottom. So notice how the pants are wider than the shirt. We're just going to create some darts right in the front. I'll fold it up probably about 3 inches in the front on one side, and I made like a triangular shape to create a dart, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Fold up about 3 inches. It may not be 3 inches for your top and bottom. Whatever it is, to make that top and bottom match, you just fold it in the front and create a dart. Now I've traced along that line so that you'll see it's like a triangle, and I'm going to sew along that triangle that I've pinned to create those darts. And now that it's sewn together, we have the bottom is the same width as the top, and we can go ahead and try to attach the top to the bottom. So what we're going to do is turn the pants right side out and leave the top inside out, but we're going to turn the top upside down, and we're going to insert the top of the pants into the neck of the shirt. Prior to doing that, we have to find the sides and the middle so that we can have it even all the way around. So I'm placing a pin on each side. There's no seams on the side, so I just folded the pants, meeting the front seam to the back seam, and then the sides automatically folded where they lay. And I'm placing the pin on the middle front and middle back of the shirt to section those off. And now I am going to open up the neck hole and tuck the pants inside. So now we have the waistband of the pant meeting the bottom of the shirt, and I'm going to take the pins that I placed in the front and pin it to the front crotch seam and the sides, and pin it to the side seam of the shirt, the back middle to the back crotch seam of the pant, and the side seam of the shirt to the side pin of the pant. So that's why we sectioned the pants off, so that we can match it up to the shirt. And we're going to sew that 1 inch seam allowance all the way around this using a stretch stitch or a zigzag stitch. And now that it is sewn and attached, you can turn the shirt, flip it up and turn it right side out, pulling out the sleeves. The only thing left to do for this is to fold down the top portion of the neck opening using those seam allowance from the sleeves and sew around the neck opening to hem it using a stretch stitch or a zigzag stitch. You will need that stretch stitch because you are going to stretch it out in order to get your body inside of that hole at the top. And then we're going to fold down the sleeves 1/2 inch, and we're going to sew around those sleeves to hem them. Do that for both sleeves. And then do the same thing for the bottom pant leg. First, try it on to make sure it fits, and if you have to adjust, cut any excess fabric off and then hem it. Fold it down 1/2 inch or however much you want to fold up to hem it to make it work for your height. And then sew as close to the edge as possible around. And now we're going to make the waist tie. I folded up a 6-inch wide piece by however long you want it to be. I just used my scrap fabric, and I am going to cut each end on an angle. Now remember, the strip is 6 inches wide so that you can fold it in half and have 3 inches of a waist tie. And I'm going to leave an opening that is about 2 or 3 inches wide so that when I sew down the sides, I can turn it inside, right side out. And I'm going to sew from one side all the way across, stop at the opening where I pinned, jump over to the other side, leave that open, and sew down the other side. And now that I have it sewn, I still have that hole for the opening. I'm going to turn it right side out. And I am going to pin up that hole, and I'll either blind stitch that opening closed, or I'll take it to the machine and top stitch it closed. And now you're done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again soon. Bye.